Go, Zara, take us away.
All right, guys, welcome back. Episode 20. That's Racing. For those of you that watched last week, I wasn't here, and in my absence, the guys did a fantastic job, I must say. Ashraf with his introductions. Mate, kudos to you. Today we've got Aaron from Precision and a couple of his customers, George and Tony. G'day, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Hi.
I think as we've done in the past and as we want to continue to do now, just get a bit of an understanding of where Precision started, how it come about, and then what sort of led to the trajectory or the path of where you've gone today, and what got you into this Lambos and Audis and those type of vehicles.
Yeah, so look, I think for people that have known us for quite a bit or even done some research, we started in the Evo market or platform, which is quite big these days for a lot of the big shops out there and fast cars. Being predominantly roll racing now and not drag racing where people are worried to launch, the Evo is actually quite good. Good traction, good all-wheel drive, good market car, and don't have to worry about breaking gearboxes and transfer cases at the start line. So if I had my time again, I would have wished that roll racing was back then. Back then, we were drag racing. So constantly going to the track, essentially doing what Murad would do.
When's back then?
We're talking
2013,
2013, yeah.
Okay.
It's like yesterday.
It feels that way because I remember I used to go to the track in my car, Pack 275, and you were there at that sort of same time.
And we probably were there every weekend or every Wednesday night.
Yep.
So that was sort of my life, and I say back then like it was 20 years ago, right? And you're probably thinking, oh, it's only 10 years ago. A lot's changed since then. So yeah, Evo market, good platform, 4-cylinder, fairly new at the time, like 2007 model car in 2013. It's not really an old car. These days we're like, they're a bit of an old car. So spending more money on them and ripping the front end apart and going dry sumped and cage isn't really it's like, oh yeah, just do it. Yeah. Whereas new cars, people tend to not really want to do that kind of thing. So I think at the time I was probably one of the crazier ones that would modify a brand new car. And I guess
Was it actually brand new? Was it actually brand new?
It was a fairly fresh car.
It's the white car, correct?
Yeah.
But they were
not brand new, but it wasn't very old. And back then, to spend even 50 grand on a car was like, oh, this guy's going all out.
What model was it?
It was a Evo 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
But look what we're talking about, saying he's crazy modifying cars back then. You're now modifying Lamborghinis and Audi R8s.
That's right.
It's
and
like
I feel
the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, and I feel like people weren't really going that heavily involved in a car that was only 6 years old at the time. Do you know what I mean? Ripping them apart, dry sump. We were putting like Magna blocks, 4G64 Magna blocks. I was going to pick and pay less on a weekend, getting 3 blocks, and would make 2.4 litres out of them, Wow.
Well, what did you run? Weren't you the first 8-second Evo or something?
Yeah, so maybe even 9s for the late model, the CT chassis, because we had to make our own rules, you remember?
Oh, yeah, micro records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the first in the 8. It went 8.8 at 158, I think. And then I think...
It's not bad considering the record now is at 8.5. This is
that's a good point.
I've stopped following it, but I did find out, I think last year it was beaten. And I think we went 8.7 at the time.
8.5 now.
8.5 now. Who's got that? Is
that the King shape Evo? The
4G?
King 4G, the Elite Auto House car.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Orange car.
No.
Is that right?
The...
Grey one.
Grey one.
Okay. Sequential gearbox?
Yes.
Nitrous?
Yes.
Like ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
So to give you an idea on the car that I was racing, H-pattern dog engagement gearbox, no nitrous. It was a Haltech Platinum Sport 1000 ECU with a GDX 4202. And GDX had just come out. So billet wheel was like...
Wow.
Yeah, billet wheel was special,
Was that slicks or radials back then?
That was bias ply tyre. Yeah, so slick. Bias ply. What do you mean? Huh?
Just say slick.
I don't even know what that meant.
So you call it slick.
A slick and a radial.
That's it.
Most of your radials are slicks because they got no tread pattern.
We usually call you slick.
Yeah.
That's why Aaron was confused.
Wait till he buys your car, then you'll know how slick it really is.
So that was a bias ply tire, which is a slick. It's a bag tire. It's not a radial. It doesn't have a metal belt in it, so it's quite a light tire, and you get really good flex in the sidewall. Slick for all-wheel drive cars is generally better for launching. It's softer impact on the driveline. It's almost like what a converter does for you guys for a manual car.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you've got a clutch and a gearbox that's a manual, like Romanus would know about, you got to either slip that clutch and then the shock hits the tyre, which then can break traction, whereas if you've got a converter, it softens everything up. Also stops it from breaking the driveline. So, but a bias ply tyre will actually slow the car down. So it's like trying to ride like a push bike or a mountain bike with flat tyres.
Well,
Where if you pump the tyres up, the thing rides faster. Exactly the same. So if you run a radial, you'll go faster, but you got that little bit of an issue with 60 foot and braking stuff and things like that.
so you were running slicks.
Running slicks. I did run a radial.
Buy a
Bias
Bias ply.
buy a cup cider.
I did run a radial. The quickest we got was a 9.0 at 159 or 161 or something.
Oh, so you still had a radial back then? You tried it out.
Yeah. Because the radial back then, the US record was 8.9. So I was trying to beat that. Everyone would run on a bias ply tyre back then.
Yeah.
Back then.
Back then. We're talking what, like
11 years ago.
11
years
years
ago?
years
Yeah,
ago.
it's not
Or
that long
nearly
ago.
12.
It's not long ago,
No.
but look at back then, 350 kilowatts was
Yeah.
pretty big, 400 even.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I feel like that 400 wow is 1600.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
It's like the benchmark now where you start.
It's nuts. It's
Crazy.
nuts.
Where'd you go after the Evo?
So after the Evo, I never just stop one thing and go to the next. Okay, so the Evo then carried on, but then we got into the GTR market, the R35 market, and that was just something new, more tech, and that was our first sort of relationship with dual clutch transmissions, I guess, where we got to learn how that system worked. And I'm glad that we got to do it with Nissan because it's a lot dumber than how Audi and VAG do it, Volkswagen Auto Group do it.
Makes sense.
So whilst it's just a clunkier version, and I mean, if you've ever driven an R35 and driven a Volkswagen Golf, you would definitely agree that one's refined and one's pretty rubbish. So we got to learn on a system that was dumber, and also with access to software to actually see what was going on. Whereas with the Euro platform, we don't really get to see everything. It's very hidden, just because of software availability. So that was good. It means that we sort of already know what to expect, but with the new platform, but we're doing it blind. So we sort of like, oh, that's doing that. We know it's doing that, but we can't see it. But we know because of what we learnt on previous model cars. R35 was good. It was a lot of learning, and
That
I
was
think
the RBLOL.
yeah, that
car.
was my car.
Yeah, the RB.
That was that like grey.
Yeah, matte grey.
Matt Gray.
Yeah,
I remember that going to the racetrack a few times, and you were always there. And
yeah.
So what did that go?
I think we went 821 or 829 or
Okay,
something
decent back then.
back then.
And what power did it make?
I'm gonna say 1450, 1530, something around there.
Okay.
Yeah, which back then was it was good. Like that was like when things like you needed to have 1,000. Do you know what I mean?
Minimum, yeah.
So I was always a little bit ahead
Yeah.
with what we were doing. Plus, we gained a car that was faster than my race car at the time because the race car was the Evo. But you would drive it on the street and it's actually nicer on the street. So your street car was faster than the race car. And that's where...
Yeah, we know about that.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Yeah, so that's where sort of development with everything that I've been involved with has actually gone, you know, like whereas the street car's like, hang on, this is getting dumber and dumber. It's faster than the race car. Whereas the Evo was like every pass you would come back to the pits, check underneath, bonnet up, oil, check to see if you've cracked any casings, check pull plugs.
I think we have a video of that car.
Yeah, you would.
Do we have a video of that car that we can, or something, a picture? There you
There
go.
it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this is the R35. Yep.
I remember that.
Any sound?
I think that's when I met you.
Oh, I would have known your Evo days, but
Oh yeah, true. I had the silver Evo.
yeah, and the candy apple one or something.
Yeah.
Who's
I've
driving?
one of your
You
customers
driving,
for a
Aaron?
while.
Yeah, I used to drive.
You
No
used to
way.
take,
Yeah.
you used to put slicks on that. I remember take the back tires off and put slicks on it.
They
eh?
Yeah.
still all run slick
At the racetrack.
Yeah, we still run slicks on it. Yeah.
Do you miss it?
I do a bit.
It's mad.
I think I
What's
miss.
the mile an hour so low?
That was half track, Tony.
I was like, only 8. Okay.
Kale, I don't think we got any sound.
No, we do.
Yeah.
Down there, I can hear
Can
it.
you?
Yeah.
Are you hearing it from the laptop?
All that.
So all the
Hey,
drag races have lost their hearing. They can't hear shit.
See, look, we were there all night. That video.
That's
By the
mad.
looks of it. Yeah, look, I do miss. I think I miss having the time and less stress to be able to go and enjoy that. That's what I miss.
So you enjoyed drag racing at some point,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning of the evolution of getting into the more, if you
Street
can,
cars,
yeah, street
power.
with power, comfortability,
Yep.
like Bob moment.
Isn't that
Okay.
when you met old mate here? He built a 35.
Would have been, yeah.
So from the 35, did
Back
you
in the
go
days.
straight into the European cars, or was there a few
No.
35 builds in between?
So I think I don't know what year that was exactly, but I'm gonna say it
Might have
was
been 14 or 15.
yeah, something around that.
It was
So like
actually, yeah.
9 years ago.
Back then.
Yeah. So
At what point can we stop saying back then? Like 5 years?
Like, fucking you guys talk about this like 9 years ago. To us,
it's yesterday.
it's like yesterday.
yeah.
When we started racing, it was like in the 80s.
Yeah. The other thing is I do this every day, right? So when this is your life every day for 10 years, back then, fucking long days ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Like count the days.
Yeah.
So you actually go to work every day.
Yeah. Unlike some.
I think it's because the scene's evolved so quick and so much in the last 5 years that now anything 5 years plus ago looks crazy. Like it looks so prehistoric.
Ancient.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
in the last 5 years, things have just gone mad.
Even builds, like there's some R35 builds that we've done that, you know, sort of 4 or 5 years old. And I look at it and I'm like, it's not how I do it. But we've been doing it the same for the past 3.
Yeah.
But that feels like 5 years.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. The development and technology has just gone crazy.
Yeah.
Does that mean if we have an R35 built back then, you'll change it up for free?
Yeah, everything's free. You pay once and everything from then on
Special
is
price
free.
for you.
See that? Warranty.
So after you sort of developed that RBLOL, where was it from there? Like where?
So then obviously that there was a fairly big market for the R35, not necessarily for people that want to go run low 8s. Especially at the time, I feel like that was still the era where it was like if it ran a 9, that's fast.
Yeah.
You know, 10s were sort of expected back then. Evo days when we were doing the Evo, the 10s was good. Whereas now that's like stock cars can run a high 9. So there were definitely people trickling through that wanted to do the bigger builds, and obviously having our own car that had done it, I didn't have to guess with what we had to do. It was just cookie cutter essentially, and then just making it more refined. So obviously you have firmware updates all the time for ECUs, so things get better that way. Then you got parts updates all the time. Crankshaft gets better, conrods get better, only because people are originally when things were getting built, like even PPG, when they designed the gear set for these things, they were thinking 1,000 horsepower, but that's because the RB stuff, they were like, oh, that's as far as they're going to go. Like this is a new car. It's taken 15 years to go 1,000 on an RB. If we build it for 1,000, it's going to be fine. But it's too easy to make horsepower.
Yeah.
Like especially with ethanol fuel. That's another thing to mention with the Evo days. I was driving down to, I think it was Manildra or Mildura, past Nowra, and I was buying drums of ethanol, 99% ethanol, and then bringing it up here and mixing that to try and get it to E85, just so that it would last longer, not because I need it to be 85, just it'll last longer and make the same power. Back then, people were going C16 and pump unleaded. They were restricted to that. But the E85, whilst you needed a larger fuel system, like a mechanical pump and whatnot, we'd get the same power, but at a lot less cost. You know, instead of 2,000 a drum, it was like $300 a drum. So I was doing that. Like, it must have been every fortnight.
Mixing your own fuel?
Yeah.
So what was that? Just 85%, or you'd use
99? Yeah, and I'd just get it down using a tester.
And what do you mix it with? Just normal petrol?
Yeah, 98.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then it was coming.
Okay.
Yeah, this is. I was saving 2,000. You know what I mean? A drum.
Yeah.
And then I would start getting people when pump E85 would come out. Initially, we were like, oh shit, what are they mixing it with though? It's the shit stuff. You know, they mixed it with 91. Anyway, it's fine. The ethanol content is what you need. And then I had people, when it got into like flex fuel days, when the GM brought out flex fuel, right? Then that sensor became available and we're able to apply that to the stuff that we're doing at the time. So R35 GTR, and then the Evos would come in for flex. And then people were like, you know, I've got to drive 30 minutes for a servo, and I'm there going, fuck, you got to be joking. I was driving 4.5 hours for a drum. So it's funny to watch the evolution, especially from the start. And I still get it today. Like, I'm 30 minutes from a servo. I can't really be bothered, even though it adds, you know, an extra 150 kilowatts or something to their car that has 4 bolt-ons. And I just look at it and go, well, you know, you're happy to pay this much to make, you know, 100 kilowatts with 98, but adding E85, you get a free 100 kilowatt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's true.
It's
I guess one way of looking at it from their perspective is they're not going to use that power on the street either. That extra 150 kilowatt, you know. So
depends. If it only makes 400.
Yeah, okay.
How many people build cars for the street these days anyway?
They do, with 2,000 horsepower.
Yeah. Look, yeah,
No, to be honest, all of and this is why we're not heavily involved in the drag racing scene anymore. The cars that we do,
up to straight.
They aren't caged. The owners can't justify spending the money on.
Sorry.
True straight.
It was just straight. True straight.
True, my mate.
It is true straight.
True straight.
100%.
Yeah, so the cars that we do and the client that owns them don't want to spend and don't want to ruin the car. Do you know what I mean? If you could justify caging it and putting a chute, I mean, chute's easy, but caging it, that's also a big problem though. R35, we can cage, it's fine, being the steel body and whatnot. Doing a welding cage is fine, but people don't want to ruin the car. They want to have to hop in over a cage. And there's no point putting a bolting cage running 8.0. So
what's your thoughts when people like RHM say that their cars are true straight?
You do know I'm a precision customer.
Why isn't your
We're not
car?
talking
I am a
about.
precision
We're
customer.
talking about your
Why are
car.
they saying your
that's
car's not
secondhand,
true
mate.
street?
I don't know.
Why would his car not be true
Why not?
street?
Yeah.
No, I'd classify
Drive-
RHM as a true
Come,
street car.
drive it to my office with me in the rain, and
I can easily.
I'll have to go to the
But
service station and fill it
When
up.
I've got a twin turbo Lambo there, why wouldn't I just jump in that?
yeah.
Yeah,
a
everyone
lot
seems
easier.
to be getting them these days.
And I think
It's a lot. It's a lot
Easy
easier.
power.
So what makes it true straight?
look, I've never not
Because you
one-
just said if it's has
I
got a
didn't say
cage.
I didn't say anything like that.
I want to know what you define as true straight.
I
It's registered
Yep.
in the state.
Yep.
think if you could drive it interstate
Yeah,
without
look,
changing anything,
You could have a lot of these arguments, right? Like,
You never get the
Hawkins
way.
is the best guy to
a
argue
true
this.
street car that ran 7.0s.
Brother,
Like,
that was
Yeah.
not straight. You got kicked out of
So
every
it's
stage.
registered.
Badly. Didn't have a false floor.
It had no floor.
It had a
That's
false
why I got that
floor.
True
7.0.
street is you can basically drive it to the shops. You can drive it anywhere, anytime. Take it out to restaurants, whatever. Go for a long cruise. Drive it all day.
Look, I personally believe RHM is a true street car. It just
Yeah,
not.
look, it's got full trim.
I
To me,
drove
if it's
it to
got full
Palm
trim, he
Beach.
drives it. It's a true street
Did
car.
you drive at home?
Full trim. My
noise
Evo
got
was
to
full
me.
trim.
So full trim now is true
Have
straight.
fun.
For him
glass
to
doors.
get the performance out of his car,
Yeah.
it's not true street because all I got to do is turn up, kick the tyres, and put my helmet on.
Mate, you've put you've got 2 turbos sitting there.
One
that don't
power
come
adder.
factory.
One
You've done a
power-
lot more than just
One power adder. That's
one
it.
power. Oh, there's multiple power adders.
No,
Power adders.
no, there's not. What?
E85 fuel.
There's the chillers. You need those to work, don't you?
That's not a power header, though.
Well,
Do you run
need it to
nitrous?
run the
Do you,
power.
do you run
No.
nitrous?
No,
No.
we don't need to.
And,
Still.
and
Mate, we haven't even
just
opened the
bucket.
throttle. If I showed you a log, can we show them a log on this?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to
Insert log here.
insert log here. Yeah. Tony's car, when it's up top, and this would be it cooled up.
Can we introduce Tony to everyone?
Yeah, we should.
we should. You know, there's
Well, we
But
figured everyone knew
we do
Tony.
that, is this sort of where the business went to next after the R35s?
Tell us how you got
Yeah, how
to
did
the
you get
Lambos.
to the Euro
But like, I
cars?
feel like we're missing a part. Get to Tony.
The transition into
Yes.
the Lambo.
Yeah.
He bought
I
one.
remember this, but
And he couldn't
people
fucking
don't.
leave it alone.
Oh, look, I bought it for a reason, and that was the point of it. So R35, I bought one. We done the R&D. We started developing our own packages.
Yep.
That was going well. We, we're busy doing them. Don't forget, if you're doing like a PR16, it makes 1600. A PR12 makes just over 12.
What did George buy?
600.
Which
He
one?
started with the 6, then he
Oh,
went
yeah, that's
8,
right.
and then he went 12.
Yeah.
It's a long
I'm a
way
slow
around the
learner.
block.
in the
Why
R8.
did he just go 12 to start?
GDR.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
he
because
started
I
at 35.
thought 800 would be enough. That's
wow.
why.
And how was it?
It was enough, and
the
just
time.
everybody just kept on getting quicker and quicker, so you just didn't want to get left behind. Right? So
Isn't that always the case?
yeah,
Did you like the 35s when you had them?
I did when they were sort of kind of unique,
And there was nothing
Yeah.
better, right? What else are you going to get?
and then all of a sudden they just didn't become unique anymore, right? To me, and I just wanted something a little bit more refined. And every time I was sort of taking it out, I was sort of, in your era, early 30s, late 50s, or mid 50s, and I just wasn't going to drive a 35 at 50. So I thought, what else can I get?
He felt like a bit of a fuckwit, I think.
He felt like
So after you charged him 3 different times, you go, you're a fuckwit.
That's because he didn't give him the hoodie. He couldn't drive
I feel
it
like
anymore.
you should have said to him at the time, listen, mate,
No, he
don't
did.
waste your money doing all these. Go 1200.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so
I would've.
the way it
You
happened,
wouldn't?
I'm very honest. I tell people not to do it. Like I've got people even today that come up and they're like, I want to do a PR8. I'm like, worst bang for buck.
yeah, look,
12 or nothing.
I turned up to Aaron's workshop at Kings Park.
Yep.
Kings Park with a guy called Mark Saguna, and Mark ended up doing 1200, and
He had the white 35
that's
as well.
right, yeah. And I did the 800 package, but Aaron sort of rang up and said, "Hey George, I know what you're going to do. You're going to go 1200 after a while." And I said, "No, I'm not. And he goes, "Let's just spend a bit more money on the motor, so when we've got to go 1200, you've got it." And that's what's happened. So when I went to 1200, it was just bolt-on turbos.
Turbos, yeah.
So,
Did it feel much different from 800?
Oh, man, it's two
chalk
different
and
cars.
cheese, yeah.
Yeah.
Chalk and cheese.
So who was there first? Was
George.
there first? Okay. So was that the first European car?
Sorry,
that
that
was
was
a 35
still.
yeah.
you, oh, 35.
Yeah.
Wow.
We haven't gone to the Euro stuff.
We haven't transitioned
We haven't
yet.
hit the Euro
We're
yet. We're still in
talking
35.
GDR.
So
But
the 35 was a big journey.
It definitely, 100%. Yeah. I would say the Evo journey started pretty much before I started the business, to be honest, because to go way back, it was out of my parents' garage. You know what
So
I mean?
you got a soft
So-
spot for Evos, right?
I do, but I also don't have a soft spot for shit braking constantly, and I'm okay with stuff breaking because that's what we do. That's racing, right? But it's when it's the same thing over and over that's painful.
Yeah.
It's almost like
I know.
Yes.
It must be more painful though when you got to warrant it.
Well, this is
He didn't have warranty back
there was
then.
no warranty like that back then. It was traditional racing, right? The way it should be. But the reason why warranty came in was because people have got a car now that's worth a fair bit of money. They're now investing a fair bit of money in it, and it's more about showing them that, look, we've done this before. We're showing it's very easy for me to say they're fine, they're good, like they're very low risk. You might break one little thing a year, depending how much you race it. That's all as good as what words are.
Can you define your warranty, because the first time I heard this, I was like, that's fucking
it's insane.
sick.
Yeah.
Like, that can't be true. And Ashraf was like, yeah, that's really how it is. And I think that's one of the best features of what you guys do.
Okay, so to go into that,
tell us just quickly, just for the viewers, because they don't understand what we're talking about. Someone brings you a. Does it have to be a brand new car to start with?
No, look, depends on the platform.
Okay,
right. So it's defined online as well. We have like a warranty disclaimer. You can have a look.
Okay.
And it mentions driveline. Obviously, if the car comes in, we don't warrant the entire car. Okay. We're just talking about the driveline. That's all we're concentrating on.
Yep.
And if we're doing a PR6, but then which is in an R35, literally a full bolt-on package, that's referred to as exhaust, intakes, tune.
Yep.
Right? We don't warrant the factory driveline components. We haven't touched them, and no doubt they're from a 2008 model car, right? So being 15 years old, whatever they are, they could be broken before they even come to us, or almost. So it's worth noting that in that we're warranting only what we're touching and what we are in control of, and anything outside of that is not covered. If we're doing a PR12 where we're doing the entire driveline, we warrant that for 12 months. There is one exception, which is the ETS, which is the clutch pack that drives the front wheels.
On all models? Or?
On all R35.
Okay.
Even if we've built it yesterday. If it fails tomorrow, we're going to probably just do it because it shouldn't be one day. But if it fails in 3 months, it's chargeable. It's a clutch pack. We've got no control over how long it lasts. We've got no control how you use the car. So if you spin the tyres more often than the person next door, you're going to wear up a clutch pack a lot quicker than the other guy.
Fair.
They're not a big cost. Like you're talking maximum $5 and a bit grand, trans R&R, including the clutch pack, and then you're back and running again.
Yep.
I tell people like a PR12, if you budget one of those a year, you'll be fine. So, but I also state when people are booking in a job, say a PR12 is worth 170 grand, I would tell them budget 15 to 20 grand a year in maintenance, repairs. Okay, so that could be small things. It won't go over that. So it will not go over that. If it hurts an engine in 12 months, that'll be us. If it breaks a gear, that'll be us. Okay.
Does then the warranty then get extended for an additional 12 months?
If you freshen up the engine, wouldn't you do it?
No. No warranties are extendable. If we do something and it's 11 months and 5 days, you don't get another 12 months out of that.
No, but what Ashraf's saying, if you freshen the engine up in that 12 months.
If you go to Apple and you've got a phone that's broken, you give it to them. They give you a new one. The warranty period starts.
It shouldn't extend.
It doesn't?
No manufacturer extends warranty.
What I'm saying is, if, say you're talking about your engine.
Basically, it's a commitment for the money you've spent. We're going to commit that you're going to have a troublous item or whatever it may be that you paid for 12 months.
Yeah.
All right. And if anything happens within that window, then we'll support it. And anything outside of that window, you've got to start now tripping back in.
Yeah. No, and that's fair enough. I mean, look, it's kudos to you for even offering that.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's great.
Not many, there are no other shops that.
What if someone waits the 12 months and then goes, Aaron, can you freshen up my whole engine and warranty it again for 12 months?
But they pay for it, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do they have to pay for the whole setup again?
No, you talk about engine.
Whatever you're doing, yeah. If we're putting new pistons, rods, bearings, we're in control of the whole thing and refreshing it. We've given it another life. You've actually gone ahead and paid for the new life.
Yeah. What do we term it? Maintenance cycle. That's how we term it on these.
Do you do free servicing?
God, look at that.
We do for the.
This is the true Egyptian coming out of it.
I'm asking for the.
He's the true street Egyptian.
We're going to do a cost analysis on your business next.
All right, so the warranty period.
No warranty.
Let's get off the topic before you send the guy broke. The warranty period's 12 months, depending on the package, depending on the parts.
Yep.
I thought it was 24 months.
I still think that's amazing.
Did you cancel 24 months?
It was 2 years ago, and with the amount of racing that people do these days, it's not sustainable.
Is that even for Lambos and R8 platform too?
We went across the board just to make it simple.
I want 2 years.
Yeah.
You'll still probably get
Mate, you haven't even booked it. You've never done a job with us.
As soon as you got in the car, you voided the warranty.
Has he ever built a car from scratch? He's only just bought your customer car.
He buys our customers' cars for
For a bargain.
Knowing that they don't want to have to deal with 10 people wanting to buy the car. So he buys it at a cost where there's enough room for margin.
And him having
And he
to
makes
deal with
money
that.
on us. Yes.
Oh.
No, then he breaks it, and then it has to go back for warranty.
Yeah. No, he doesn't really break it.
I haven't broken anything. I actually upgraded the
35,
green
yeah.
Lambo's driveline
about that
completely.
30?
Remember?
Didn't you used to
Yeah.
keep breaking that 35?
That was warranty.
No,
Which one was
he,
that?
He kept trying to beat
The
me.
white
The
35.
white 35.
Imran's.
Oh no, that's genuine warranty. So there's an issue there. There was a third gear failure, and it broke
3 times.
2-3 times in a row. Yeah, I'm going to make it sound better than what it was. It was probably 3 times in a row, and not our issue, not an assembly issue. Went back to manufacturer. They said, "Oh, it could be this." We're like, "Okay, no problem. We'll replace everything so that we've done it how you want us to do it." Because at this point, we were actually paying for it out of our pocket. Right. So the first 2 times they gave it for free. Then when we sent it there and they said, "Nah, it looks like this could have been an issue." That time we paid out of our pocket.
Use it,
I was like, "All right, whatever. You're saying that we missed something. Let's fix it now. I just want the job done."
Got to keep the customers happy.
Mind you, the gear that was getting supplied for free is a very, very small fraction of the cost that it costs us to do this, right? Because it ruins the oil, it ruins the pan filter, it can ruin other things like synchros and hubs and sliders within the trans.
That's all on you.
Yeah, the gear's $700. The job's $10,000.
Spion.
You know what I mean? So
Crazy.
every time we do this,
DCT life.
You know all about that, don't you?
Have you ever thought
Absolutely.
about buying the customer's cars back yourself so you don't have to deal with him?
no.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good for business.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So anyway,
It's a volume deal.
I'm good for business.
Mute that part.
we ended up finding that it happened again after doing. So then we were like, okay, now
Did
I
it?
want full refund on everything. And then we ended up moving to a different direction, different manufacturer, and it's been fine, that gear.
Very good.
So, that's
back
a good...
to how you got into the Lambo platform. I remember you.
Hang on,
bought-
when we pressing port, I feel like everyone's got ADD here.
Yes.
We're going back to GDR, right?
No,
We're
finish
still
GDR.
talking about GDR.
GDR,
Yeah,
okay.
Because you hadn't finished that.
Correct. So GDR, I guess we'll push into go 7s. That was one of the things I really wanted to do.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But at that time, R35s in Australia hadn't gone 7s. I mean, we were the only ones in the 8s. I think even up until recently, that was still current. And
You never got there to the 7?
no, we did, yeah, multiple
You did?
cars. Yeah.
No. At that point, like when you were chasing it, not now, or
No,
When did you
didn't-
run the first 7?
No, oh.
Recently or?
So that would have been Lance's car.
well, that was your car. Did he buy that off
No,
you?
no,
that's
no.
his.
That
They
was
looked
his
the
car.
same, didn't they?
It was
RBL
grey.
It
No,
was
not
shiny
RB law.
grey.
What was the number plate, George?
King 35.
Yeah, something king.
No,
Something
That's the one
35.
you bought, wasn't
No, Mad 35.
Mad
wasn't it?
35.
Mad 35,
Yeah.
Victorian car. So yeah, that was a car. It came in. It was a stock car, and he wanted to go PR16, and that car was the first car that went 7s. Yeah, it would have been. I don't even know what date.
16.
Didn't
I think
he
it
build
was.
the drag car we've used too that went 7th? Or slower than his
Yeah.
street
Yeah,
car?
he had a second car as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd already owned that. It was maybe like a write-off or something like that that he was building prior to even meeting us. He'd bought like a crate engine from AMS. It was a used crate engine, I believe, that he bought from the US. And it was just sitting there. So that car, I think he had the engine for that before we even took on his build. We had his car done and running for 2 years prior to us touching the drag car. At that point, he sort of just put all of his time and effort into the street car and racing that. I think he's a little bit like Tony in the sense of every event, like he was there.
Yeah.
Wasn't he, George? Whether
Yeah.
it was Sydney, it didn't matter. Sydney, he'd just drive to Sydney. Like
Yeah, he was committed. He was
very committed, yeah. Which is good for for when you want to achieve goals, right?
Yeah, of course. You have to.
And back then it was really myself, Saguna, and Lance, and I think Thompson came into it, and we were all trying to get good times in our GDRs, and really chasing the RB.
Yeah, but Thompson didn't ever actually do anything. He's just a person that wanted to do something. So you probably shouldn't even actually mention his name.
Who's Thompson?
Exactly.
Let's not go there.
Okay.
So what did you run, George, in your 35?
I think it was
8.4.
8.4.
Yeah, something
Were you
like that.
chasing
That's
it?
PR12.
No, I think I said to Aaron, if we go to PR12, you've got to guarantee me a mid-8. And he goes, yeah, no problems. And basically...
I was known to do that shit too.
Yeah. He did.
No problem. Guaranteed.
And he did. He built the car.
Even with George driving.
Yeah. He took it down the track and he said, okay, we're gonna run an 8. I'll show you how to drive the car. And I'm thinking, dude, I haven't even fucking driven it. Like, you've just brought it to the track and you want me to jump in it? So I was a bit nervous and I didn't even know how to do a burnout. Probably still don't know how to do a burnout.
Probably still don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You still don't even know how to turn traction off.
Yeah, I know how to do that now.
Yeah.
I wrote it down. Just pointed it straight and off it went. Came back around, got kicked off, and I thought, that was pretty cool. And then I got over it only because, the ETS became an issue and then the car was just big and bulky for us and, the wife didn't like it and it was a bit of an attention
And clunky.
car.
And R35.
Yeah, and then, Aaron said, I'm going to do this V10. I said, I'd be interested in that. Let me know. And I think he did your car first. Did you do the green one?
Yeah.
He was meant to build that, correct? The R8, and he bought it.
That's years later though.
Yeah.
I ordered the Perf in 2000 and either late 16 or early 17. Yeah, it was before it was obviously.
Is that Ricky's car now?
16,
No, it's another one.
Around the same time I got mine.
2018 I received it.
No, I got mine 17.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 18 September.
So from the R35s, is that where it went to? The V10s?
Yeah, essentially. Look, my mindset was there already. We're still in the old shop at that point, and Evos and 35s were still flat out. I knew I wanted to get into the Huracan. Gallardo was not a thing.
But did you see
EQ.
them doing it overseas? Is that why you wanted to get into it? Or what sort
it
of...
showed me the platform. Underground Racing and Dallas Performance were the only ones.
Yeah.
We actually supplied engine head gasket parts for Dallas Performance back when we were doing GTR stuff. We were quite close with Tony Pato of T1 Race Development. They're heavily involved in the R8 and R8 Huracan GTR back in time. And he put us on to Dallas, Taylor from Dallas. And yeah, so we were sort of close to him. They specialised in Lambos, R8s, and back then there was more Gallardos than Huracans because the Huracans were fairly fresh. They were 2014, but people take some time before they warm up to modifying, And could you imagine the quality back then with, clutches and stuff like that? It's advanced heaps. So being involved and talking to people over there that were already doing things. Underground they had John Reed Racing develop like custom firmware for them. So that was locked to them. I was already using Motec, so I didn't really want to venture off that. And Dallas was using Cyvex, which is a UK brand ECU. And because I was fluent with the Motec product, I sort of only really wanted to do the platform if we could get that to work. So I reached out to the engineer at Motec in Australia and said, if I get this car, can we put it through R&D and develop a plug-in package? And it took 9 months to get approved, and that was like a month before the car arrived. So when the car did arrive, I had it for like 2 weeks and sent it to Melbourne. The car was down there for about 3-4 months. About 3 months. And
so they made the Motec package around your car?
Off my car, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That everyone uses around the world.
Yep, they sold 300 kits in the first 12 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do you get like a royalty on
No. So exclusive is now the way I drive everything now. As soon as we're in the development phase of anything, we want exclusivity. If that means I have to pay for tooling or whatever it may be, the time spent in it, then I pay for it.
Because you don't want to be in that same position.
Do you have exclusivity?
Not on the ECUs.
No.
But other items would do.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why the gear sets, we did that. So
Is the Motec your preferred computer?
It is, yeah. Yeah. But that's a little bit like, okay, so it's like saying what's your preferred phone? If it's Samsung, then that's fine. But if you're an iPhone user, then that's probably what you're going to choose.
Yeah.
Back to the Lambo.
Yeah,
GTR. Lambo or GTR?
Fuck the GTR.
What do you mean?
He went 7th and he quit.
Yeah, we've had a few cars in the 7s. In the last, say, 4 years, when they got a PR16, it was like, it's going to run a 7.9, 180, 181. And they've all done that first hit, and then we get kicked
Did
out.
you quit on the GTRs now?
No.
Done? Still going?
We're doing
Still
a
building?
PR12 as we speak, yeah.
Yeah, but he quit on the trying to go sixes part.
Yeah, there's no
Nah,
need for
drag
that.
racing.
Well,
No,
why
I think,
isn't there
I
a
think
need?
what
Drag-
Ash
drag
is
racing.
trying to get to.
Why isn't there a need
is-
for it?
No,
You
hang on.
quit.
Because drag
No, no.
racing's boring.
No, it's not.
No,
is.
we're not allowed.
You gay at fucking roll racing, bro. Fucking sitting there waiting
None
for
of-
the
none
guy
of-
next to you to
I
go
think- I think Aaron
50k
focused-
so you can take off.
What do
How
you mean?
fucking mad is that?
He hasn't won a roll racing since February 23.
It's not about me. It's
Bro,
about
you're
others.
waiting for the guy to tell you how fast you can go.
Why are
mate.
you getting angry?
I'm not.
No, I agree, and that's why I love drag racing because you actually got a number. It's nothing to do with a guy that
That's where the real
either
men
jumps
go,
you
mate.
or slow or
Sorry, I don't mean to disrespect you guys, but like next door to me is like a child's playground, mate.
Well, I really hit a spot,
Where-
huh?
Where is like where the
He's taking the hook,
where
line,
the Premier League and the dragway, and you know you got the children in kindy.
I don't think our guests agree with you.
No, we would no,
looking at me like fuck you.
we would actually love it. We want to go. It's going there, and then you going through scrutineering, and then they kick you out before you're allowed to race.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Because basically our street cars beat your race cars.
I don't know. Maybe their race cars, not mine.
That's a fact.
Bring it on the street.
It's the
I
rules.
can't drive mine on the street.
Yeah,
Oh, non-prep.
yeah.
No, he's an
it's-
actual race car.
Yeah, I'll race it non-prep.
It only makes 6,000
Okay,
horsepower. He can't race like
But what he's saying
I'll
is he'll
race
race it
your
on the street, no on prep.
Yeah.
Bring it down.
No,
to
no,
I think I
no,
can
no.
race it.
No, let's just get back to it, right? Simplify it for
You feel like
yourself,
working
Ash.
something to me here.
Yeah.
I can
Oh,
feel
so
it.
hang on, Tick.
Finish with GTR?
Fuck, I'd hate to be a listener.
His business model is different to the majority of the shops, right? He builds race cars for clients like Tony, myself, and everybody else. right?
Easy to drive cars.
Easy to drive cars, or they can be race cars. But you know, you look at say Matooks, you know, he's devoted into drag racing, he's devoted to anything that goes fast, right? That's his clientele.
I don't know what the fuck he's devoted to lately.
Well,
His boat.
He's both.
And the jet skis.
so yeah, I suppose it's just the clientele that he's looking at, really. It's not like
So what you're trying to say is the people that go to precision, they're not good drivers. The
To
car.
go drag racing.
It's not like that.
Maybe
Hang
that's
on.
what
It's not about, you know, do I want to go drag racing? Yeah, I don't mind drag racing, right? But do I prefer to go and roll race? Yeah, because you get a variety of cars, variety
Why?
of people.
Why?
You got a lot more people. You get how many people do you get turned up to
Not
a
many.
About 30.
12.
right? So you get 12 people at the drag race, and you get 12,000 people at roll race.
Yeah, legit.
right.
But I do
So-
it for me, not for the
yeah,
people.
yeah. So it's different,
Yeah,
right? So
How about you turn your mic around for you?
yeah, so there's
your
people,
choice.
not for the
Mate.
people. Yeah, there's
You know
people
what
that-
I do it for? The time board at the end, mate.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Right,
Yeah.
What about circuit racing?
All right, look, Zeta's got a real big problem with roll racing, guys. Something's happened that we don't know about.
Do you know what? Honest to God, I've never been to one roll racing ever.
Well, maybe that's the
Ever.
problem.
I haven't even walked through the gate.
Maybe that's
So
the
how
issue.
can you hate on something
Okay,
you haven't
can I-
I'm not hating.
Can I just
I'm
say
just
something?
saying that
We
I-
are all racers, right? And the thing is with races, we get addicted to the certain thing that we're racing in, whether it be circuit, whether it be time trials by yourself on a track with no one watching. You would literally just race your own time. I've
So
done
we're
it. I've
just
been there. And hang on,
addicted to
drag
adrenaline.
racing's the exact same. Roll racing, they're doing it side by side, no timers.
You're competing with a human.
Correct. But the problem is they can't take their car to the drag strip. So they don't actually, if we started taking the drag strip and they allowed it, you watch, we'll end up being there and there and there.
Yeah.
And what
It's
do you
like-
reckon I'm going to do to that? I'll turn that into a fucking 6-second car.
Yeah.
I've been in Sydney most of my life.
Cool.
You know, I like a Queensland. I was born in Queensland, so I can legitimately have a Queensland rego. We've got property up there as well. I was into racing. Jeez, I remember when I was a young kid, my dad used to take me out on the car racing in the McLeod Ford bus, all that kind of stuff. And I remember my dad had a Fairlane done on like a 72, 73 Fairlane, maroon and white, and basically had the Phase 4 running gear in it. So the petrol runs through the blood in our family. And, you know, they got into, when I was getting my own car, I bought an old XC Falcon, had a Holly on it, and learned how to tune it with a spanner and a screwdriver. And, I don't know, years and years, got into Japanese stuff, had a GT4 Sleeker.
They're hectic.
GT4.
Mate, that
They're
thing was
sick.
and then the thing would go one way, all four wheels, and hit second, go the other way, and as you hit third gear, you're crossing the intersection. Geared out at like 260, but it was quicker than a motor. But
You know how to drive manual?
yes, mate.
Wow.
They
They didn't have automatic back then.
What's the definition of manual?
They had
How do
manual
you
before
define
autos.
manual?
H-pad.
H-pad is sequential.
Oh, no. 3 on the tree.
Top loader. Was it a top loader? Did you drive a top loader?
Never had one of those,
No.
mate. Could never afford those.
No.
Got into the JDM stuff. The GT3 was GT4 Celica was mad, and I was lucky. I made contacts with Neil Bates because every time he got a new one, he'd rip out all the stock stuff, and we'd just heat treat it and nitrate the shafts and all that kind of stuff. It'd be good for the street car. What we thought was fast, it was a 13-second car.
Yeah.
We thought it was the shit. In 1980s, it fucking was.
Yeah.
I got an RX-7, and that was the first car I went over 300 in, and we thought that was really fast. That's how you learn to bloody drive one of those tail-happy bastards.
Who built that for you?
Mate of mine, Paul, at BD4s back in the day. If you
Probably
look up hot
before I was
fours and
born.
rotaries and all that kind of stuff, it was a big thing. They were the HKS distributor here and everything like that. That got stolen, and I had the shits, and thought, you know what, time to focus on work, do all that, play around with cars later. So it was one of those things where you start out and you realise,
I think everyone goes through that stage.
Yeah.
through that
I feel like
process,
that's a really good lesson for people watching.
yeah.
Because we get a lot of, they can be adults too, that can't afford it. They can afford maybe the initial buy-in or whatever it may be, but then can't afford to continue racing. And that problem becomes our problem.
Not really. Just give me a call.
And that's where our track comes in.
It's like,
We can make money.
yeah, then I got into BMWs, like M-Tech stuff. I've had just about everything, from E39, M5s, the E60. That was crazy. That was a car we just had to delimit and did like a cannonball run, but against Gelatos and 430s and all that kind of stuff. And we'd mow them down at the top end in a 2-ton lounge chair, V10 screaming in the middle of Alice Springs desert.
How would that go today against the V10?
Yeah, nowhere near it. Seriously. I don't know, I just sort of traded up different cars. And I remember the first Lambo I bought from Barbagallo in WA.
What was it?
Just the first Murcielago.
Nice.
So bright orange and all that kind of stuff. We'll send you some photos to put up. And
I think it's for sale now.
it is,
It is, eh?
yeah. That's my car. I spoke to the guy.
You should buy it back.
He wants 600 grand or something fucking for it.
Nostalgic.
How much you sell it for?
I did all right on it because I traded that in on the Blue Hero LP640, and I think I got close to what I paid for it. But back then, and you're talking 2005, parting with 430 grand that you got to send some dealer in WA, and it's going on the train. Week goes by, nothing. Another week goes by, you ring up and go, where the fuck's my car? I just, your wife's going, what did you buy? And eventually it turns up, and so you go and pick it up at TNT and drive it
Why
home.
WA?
Well, that's where it was. It was like I was interested in doing it and had a look at a few here, and
Okay.
it was like some mining guy had it for a couple of years and needed some more garage room. It had 700 Ks on it. And I had a client that was in WA. I got him to go there and go over the car. He spent 2 hours going over it, found a little scratch about this big on one rim.
Ashraf would have taken 50 grand off.
Absolutely.
Big
So,
damage.
and then I had the LP640, the blue one, the Blue Hero, and we did a tune on that, race exhaust, all that, and that was a fun car. But literally, compared to the cars today, they are kick cars. Yeah, lots of fun and all that kind of stuff, the angle, all that kind of stuff. You knew when you went for a spirited drive for a couple of hours, you used to come home
You walk outside,
Relax.
No, you'd open the door up and basically fall out because your legs were that sore and your body from being on that weird driving position, the heavy clutch and everything like that. Then I bought a white Hurricane. I didn't have that for long because then they just released the Perth. Went to the launch of that and signed up on the spot and designed that one. It's all ad per diem, 101 spec.
Is that this car here?
That one. That's 7 years old now.
Wow.
So that's the Veolia SE30 anniversary colour. Another box you tick and another 30 grand. Yeah. And just been hooked on Lambos.
So
What
how'd you
make it
get?
twin turbo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a F90 M5. Alex had the M3 and all that kind of stuff. And the first roll racing and stuff, we used to take the M5 to the drags, roll racing.
Alex is your brother?
My brother,
For
yeah.
everyone that doesn't know.
We'd take the M5 to the drags and do the race for real stuff, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, 10-3s all day. You'd have a cup of coffee, massage seats, and do everything in it. And then we started mucking around a bit more with the tune on that, and it's just bolt-ons. And all of a sudden, the M5 was faster than the Lambo, being the stock Lambo, and it's still like, hang on. You got a big, heavy car beating the so-called supercar. So I was then doing a lot of research and things like that, and I ended up going for a Sheepy kit,
Great.
twin turbo kit, and but the problem with that was it was all new here. I don't know, were you, when I first did mine, were you?
Yeah, we were doing it. So at that point, we had the car back and we spent 9 months developing the ECU R&D testing for Motec, but with the car in factory state. We can't go modify a car than trying to refine something that you're trying to make react and conform with factory. So that definitely put a delay on our build when we got the car in 2018. But it was 12 months total, and then we modified, went from there.
Yeah, I think the first time we drove it, once it was twin turboed,
So who done the conversion?
Euroworks did it here in conjunction with Sheepy.
Sheepy from overseas. Okay.
And it's like buying stuff from overseas.
Yeah.
It's all meant to come on one shipment. It's fuck around, things are missing, you've got to double check everything. And it was really difficult because they didn't have experience working on these cars. And there wasn't like the amount of information there is now on how to do things and how things go together. So it was a long learning curve. And I think when we first took it out, we probably had bit over 1,000 horsepower. And then giving it its first hits was fucking nuts. It was crazy. And,
So what power did it make then?
we were eventually with that car about 14s. And that was just stock internals, everything like that.
Were you trying to compete with Aaron?
No, I did and beat him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been me. I don't
Which
think
Aaron?
I've lost the race.
No, Joe was driving.
Ah.
And it was one of those things. We just a friendly bit of rivalry and all that kind of stuff. And it got to the point where I needed to build the motor. I'd been a couple of rods and all that kind of stuff, compression. And it was we'd been talking, and the big difference for me was having that one place I could rely on that could look after the car, rather than me having to move it, pull the gearbox out, send it off to an ATA. The amount of times I had the gearbox out back then was just ridiculous.
Like, what are we talking?
20 times.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
So, and I'm getting charged each time. So it becomes rather expensive and everything like that. And, Aaron, when he says he really talks to people that want to do a big build, they got to be the right people that he wants to do business with, that understand what it's like to do a build. Not someone that's like, yeah, I can afford to do it, and then not be able to maintain it. When you're, and as you guys know, your maintenance bills, when you're going big power, anything can break. And over time, normal componentry does get fatigued, and you'll find the next weak spot, and it'll be something weird that normally wouldn't happen. I think the last one was fucking engine mounts.
Wow. So your street cars put you through a lot of headaches.
I think any car.
Well, I don't know. So if you compare it to the amount of times, like
This is an
yours
RB
breaks,
He owns an RB. This guy.
I own an RB now.
He does too.
How many have you got?
Me?
Yeah.
What?
R1.
RBs?
Yeah.
RBs, about
Yeah,
7.
How many?
Oh, no. There's a few there.
There's a few.
There's a few. Yeah, more than a few.
He's got more RBs than I do Lambos. I only got 4.
Only. Oh, wow.
So,
Pockets look pretty full.
no, mate, they're empty. So, look, to
We sort that.
go in there and then, like, put the car in and go through things and have to sort out a number of issues that we had problems with. When, you know, we got the car back and from Aaron and then we went for a little cruise, then it fucked us. Warped your whole perception of speed. You know, it's just anything else
Whole
you go
different
in,
level.
you have to ease yourself into it. You got to align yourself, and the feeling that you get, and being able to control the car too. They're the type of car you don't. It's not like they're RBs where you can seesaw the steering wheel. You do that, you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 different cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One's fast, one's slow.
The RBs.
Which one's
different
fast?
The RBs.
Well,
7.6.
who wins roll racing all the time?
7.6.
One
We
night.
can't go to the drag strip.
Oh,
How
so
fast
hold on.
would that go?
Oh, I don't know. So when we raced on this
How fast has it gone?
Well, how fast has it gone at Kuta
8-3.
8-2,
8:27.
8:20.
on a non-prep track?
I read 7.
Wait, how much? How
At
much
just
mileage?
at like I guess basically 195 mile an hour. What have you done? What was your mile an hour?
194.
I went 200 and
he's
then I
At prep track.
Hey.
7.6.
I went 7.0 at 200 in the street car, mate.
That was not a straight car. Shut
Shut
the
up.
fuck. It
I
took
drove
your
to
toe off.
Palm Beach, you dickhead.
All right.
Yeah, but
Did you drive it
is that
home?
on a drag strip though?
Yes.
Yeah. This
But-
is on an airstrip.
Did you drive your car home?
Yes.
I was there. Did
No,
you? I'll
mate.
show you a
Prove I
video.
didn't.
I got a video.
Because you had to go to the hospital first, get your toe sewn back on.
That happened because of a parts failure. We just spoke about parts
Because you
failure.
had no floor.
No, mate.
It wouldn't have come through if you had a floor.
Shut the... What
Zayda.
the floor's going to stop a ringy?
Let it go. Let it go.
You want me to insert the
let it
fucking
go.
floor video?
7.0
Yes, put it in.
201
In a drag car.
in a street car.
Drag.
car.
Drove to
I
Palm
think
Beach.
Zayda's on the test, man.
Hey, how about all he's saying is, I drove to Palm Beach. Nowhere else, just to Palm
Yeah,
Beach.
why Palm Beach? What's in Palm Beach?
Because it's a fucking 2 hour
Because
drive,
when he
mate.
was on running tune,
You got a wall
when he
on.
had no turbo on it, basically, he
Still a
drove
2-hour drive.
Shut up. Anyway, go
I
on.
just love the way that Romanos just throws a line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
Honey's
everyone
like,
else.
"Fucking great."
Efficient.
Yeah.
So, and look, it's constantly developing. Different
So
things
give
with
us
the car.
give us a rundown, Tony. What is in that car right now?
It's the what is it?
Stage 4.
So it's got billet. The only thing that's not billet, it's just stock block.
Yep. Yeah, factory. I'll probably take over. Yeah, so it's factory block. It's got conrods, pistons, all the internal stuff. Factory camshafts. It's got valve springs, retainers. Heads are factory
You say you got factory camshaft?
Yeah, that's what I was stripping out of here.
because they're aspirated engines that rev to 9,000. You add boost and everything's fixed. You don't need to.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your head's basically factory.
So that's why they start, idle, cruise, and drive. Nice.
The whole engine's factory beside rods and pistons.
Yes.
What about
Yeah,
crank?
basically.
Factory.
Factory.
Factory
Wow.
crank.
Yep.
Crazy.
You can ask the Queensland guys on their little foray into billet crankshafts.
Yeah,
I think they've killed 5 motors.
Yeah, I think there was a manufacturing issue with the supplier. They put billet cranks thinking that. Look, I think there's a fair few people that have gone traditional, right? We need more power, more power, more power. These things, we cannot put it down.
Yeah.
We can't, like even Tony's like, oh, if we're going to give it a birthday because it needs it, it's coming up like 3 years or something.
Need more
We're
power.
gonna, we might as well put the new,
Are you saying that motor's been in there for about 3 years now?
I think 2 years.
2.5.
Wow.
And it's never come out.
That's awesome.
It's done.
come out
Probably,
once.
I think it's done one set of plugs.
I know you guys had a bunch of gearbox tinkering now. You guys have it sorted now, eh? But
At the start,
that took a lot of work.
At the
right?
start.
at the start, so we carried on with a car that had,
As you'll find out with yours,
Yeah.
because you'll be going, just turn it up a bit.
no,
Just
you'll
turn
be
it up a bit
fine
more."
because the knowledge known today, you're not going to go through what people went through,
Yeah.
right? So Tony was going through a time that can't rehappen unless there's another manufacturing fault with the brand.
Aha.
Okay, so he was using certain parts that had manufacturing defects.
Yeah.
Which parts were they? Just so the viewers know.
Gears, gears. Yeah.
Some of the baskets.
So when you went to Precision, you'd never done the driveline, you'd done the engine.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we done engine, and we a part of the
did.
job was we're doing all our kit. So we're
on.
moving the kit, we're putting our kit on, our billet intake manifold. We're doing everything but the trans because
Because you already had a built trans,
yes.
Yeah, with dot.
which was the headache.
No, not with anyone.
Yeah.
With someone else.
Why do you change the manifolds?
Because
The
the plastic
factory's
ones
plastic,
break.
Trust
That's
me,
all right.
us mate, it went through my window.
Yeah, so about 17.5 pounds, you'll get about a year and a half, 2 years out of it.
And because you've got a lot more heat and that going through that whole engine bay, the plastics and anything like that start to perish.
Yeah, they were just never designed for boost.
Yeah.
They were all designed for
So
zero.
what turbos we got? Let's just finish the spec of the specs of the
Yep.
car.
Yep, it's got 76, 75 precisions.
Yep.
V-band in and out.
Motec.
Motec ECU package. Yep.
Has it got your gearbox now? Or
Yep.
no?
Now, yeah.
Now, with your gearbox question, if you guys were allowed to drag race, do you think you could, with the gearbox you have,
Yeah.
can you get off the line with it?
Yep.
Good question.
Yeah.
Do you mean get off the line like with
Launch it.
like you would with a converter?
Yeah.
As in go a 1-1 in the 60?
Oh, what?
Or do you mean brake? Will it not brake?
Will it not break?
Yeah.
Could you trans brake it and
Yeah.
not
Well,
break
then
it?
there is no trans brake. But
Well,
Nah.
yeah.
if you
How would
created
you do it
one,
then?
it's like Ashraf's car doesn't have a trans
I'd
brake.
be confident that they're not going to break first
Did
gear.
it break a,
okay.
did it break a cooter?
I'm talking like prep surface.
Prep surface, yeah.
Yeah.
Last time we went on prep surface, we had to pull so much power out of it.
It was
'cause
bouncing everywhere. I was saying
The
that.
thing just lifts the front wheels.
Fourth
yeah.
gear, it's pulling the front wheels in the air.
Yeah, I think
And I had to get off it.
What's it run down the track? Have you raced it down
No.
the track? Or?
No.
Only at
Never done a
cooter.
full hit.
So what would you like to run in it?
Well, it should go
If
a
you're
7.
allowed to.
mid-7.
Mid 7,
That
over
mild.
200.
Yeah.
Cute.
Well over 200.
Yeah, but we can't 60 or 1-1. We can't. We'd be lucky to go a 1-3.
Why?
But dial mainly because I don't get the time.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? If we have free range of the track, then yeah, I'd like to. I think they have gone a 1. Have they gone 1-2s in the US?
Yeah.
And they're not taking off hard. When you watch them, it's like shit. That's soft.
What's
and
the
they're
fastest-
shifting to second straight
What's
away.
the fastest?
690.
690
Yeah.
Hurricane.
205.
205 or 215 or something.
Something like that.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. But to think that 2,000 horsepower, that engine, you haven't even gone billet block or anything yet.
Fucking
Yeah, it's
we haven't
crazy.
got cams.
Yeah, factory.
You have
cams.
to dial in the cams here.
You don't have to touch
So
the
when are
cams.
you going to do like an Aventador?
They're shit.
Bad.
Single
Yeah,
clutch.
that's a.
Didn't
Not a very good
Gintani
market.
just do one now?
That's
Like
a Revolto.
no, but they didn't they do a
No, that's
twin-turbo?
exhaust. Yeah,
they
they
just went
have
down.
done.
They-
They have. Yeah.
So how,
County have done twin turbo kits, Underground done twin turbo kits for them, but it's US $500,000.
Yeah, and it's for sound,
They sound
not for
incredible,
longevity.
what's that?
When
man. The V12 with the twin turbo.
Yeah, cracker, the Revolta.
when you guys obviously the two cars we see at roll racing is obviously Tony's and then George's.
There's others as well, but
Oh, the main
Yeah.
we'll call you guys
the
big-
contenders.
the
Yeah,
contenders.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the what's the difference between your car, George, and then Tony's car?
I was just about to ask
Well,
that.
Tony wants to be the
maybe
king.
George, you want to give us a bit of a background on yourself too?
Yeah, give us an introduction.
We'll give
to
your version, and I'll give you my version.
Yeah, done.
Tony, do you
You
ever
keep-
like go
But
there
mate,
and just
wrap
say
it
if
up,
Tony's there? I'm
because
not
you got
racing?
5 minutes before we've gone over.
No,
Do you ever just say the fuck it? Like Tony's here, I'm not going to win.
no, look,
He beat Tony.
yeah,
He was
roll
beat,
racing
mate.
is,
Yeah,
you know,
George beat Tony.
I keep on saying the roll racing is
He was
three
in the left
things.
lane for sure.
There's three things that you need for roll racing. It's money, right? You need to afford to do it, right? It's luck, and it's reliability. If you don't have any of those on that night, you just won't win. So you can pull up with a stock Commodore, and you'll win if you've got all those, and Romanos doesn't, or
I've
I
got a
don't.
mate that done one and
Well, he
done
hasn't
one.
in about 2 years, so
Anniversary's coming up. Fuck it.
So,
Don't worry about me, mate. Don't worry about me.
yeah,
happy birthday, bro.
Anyway, you cut
Hey,
George off,
he
mate.
even bought another car to do it. Still didn't win.
George is talking. Wait.
well, there was two cars. There was I can see why he gets on Project so well America. with
So-
Matooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Let him finish,
ADHD.
mate.
So,
Go on.
no, look, I started racing back when I was 21.
21. That's a good
40 years ago.
35 years
Where were you
ago.
going? Where
19
wasn't even born?
Yeah,
Where'd you used to
yeah.
go?
1990.
No, we had
What was the difference between the
No.
R8 and the Huracan?
Who asked that question?
What the question was.
God,
It
now,
was-
now I'm dealing with 3 guys with ADHD.
Keep going, George. Keep going.
What's the difference between the R8 and the Huracan?
What do you mean?
We want his background story,
Do you want the background story?
and then we're going to get to the.
Yeah, go. Let's go.
Just relax.
Okay, go.
Yeah, so I started off with an RX3.
Yes.
Yes.
Zeta likes you now.
Right. And
7.9 in a true street 20
so imagine 35 years ago.
I wasn't born. I can't.
That's right. Can you imagine that? You weren't even born. But anyway, it had it was one of the first that had mini tubs.
Wow.
And
Did it have a
that's-
number plate?
No shit.
No, it didn't have a number plate. Didn't have a number plate.
dumb question. Did it have a number plate? You know what I meant. You knew what I meant, you dickhead.
It had
Fuck is a dickhead.
it had a 13B peripheral port in it, naturally aspirated, and behind it had a RX4 gearbox. And it did
So you
like
could drive manual.
yeah, and it did like a 11.1, 11.1 back in the days,
Level
right?
one.
Who built it?
Ellie.
A friend of mine built that, Alfred. So he built the car for me, and then I went and put a turbocharger on it, and then it blew up, and then the kids came along, and I had an ultimatum: get rid of the kids or the car. And I thought, man,
The kids are
the
the
kids,
about
get
it,
rid of the
think
kids.
about
That
it.
sounds good, right? So that went, and look, I really didn't get into cars until the kids got a bit older, and then you got a couple of HSVs and stuff like that, and then got into the 35 actually. Actually, I fell sick in the US. I was travelling a lot, and I fell sick in the US. And I thought, man, I'm just lying in bed here, and I could actually die and not enjoy myself. So I ring up the wife and said, you know what, I'm going to buy that 35 that I want. And that lasted for about, 2 days before I started modifying it. And then the story with Aaron, which we sort of brushed upon. And then after I got tired of that, Aaron said, I'm doing this V10 package, and why don't you be the first? We'll do it stage 4. Here's what it's going to cost, and I'll look after you. Buy the car off us, and
Fuck, you're making it sound like it was my benefit. So
It sounds like you've done it.
So I bought the car to do. Don't forget, I already had the Performante, right? I bought the R8 to make it even faster because I didn't want to go stupid on the Perf. I felt like it wasn't required. The thing already made 1530 or 1550 horsepower.
It's cute.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's the same as Ricker's. What did he go?
8.3, 185.
What's that?
830, 185.
Not bad, right? With no track support, rocks up to the track by himself.
Into chillers wouldn't even work.
Yeah, there you go. So the AC didn't have AC. So it's still fast enough, right? And at that point, I was like, I want to build this R8. Bought an R8, and George kept pestering me to sell it to him
I remember this. I do remember this.
because I had bought it for.
Yeah, but you made 50 grand selling it.
You're streaming.
hey, sell it to me.
I think I paid like $225 roughly for it, plus the freight to New South Wales. But then they jumped up to like $280. So George was like maybe 6 months too late. And I said, look, I'll give it to you for what I paid for it, but you have to do what we're going to do. Otherwise it doesn't. Otherwise I'll just keep the car.
Defeats the purpose.
Yeah. So I sold it to George for $60,000 under market value.
Did you sponsor him the whole build?
No, he paid for the job. Yeah.
Do you want to sponsor someone?
What's that?
Do you want to sponsor a build?
Yeah,
mine.
that's a good idea.
The green one. The green STO.
Yeah. You can,
So then that there was the first stage 4 you guys did.
I think Tony's was before.
No, mine was, and then it
No,
probably wasn't complete, and then Tony.
Yours started before mine, but
Yeah.
then I
You stole his turbos.
all the
Yeah.
bits off
Ah.
your house.
so
Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
came in and then it's like,
That's right.
There you go. He's
Yeah.
more.
So, anyway,
I got
because
4
Aaron was
Lambos.
R&D, right? He was doing a lot of R&D. I thought, fuck,
Let
I
him
might
do
as-
the R&D and
Let him
blow
do
it
the
up.
R&D.
Yeah.
This
That's
bloke's
it.
got deeper pockets than me.
Yeah, why
Off you
not?
go.
Off you go.
So yeah, Tony got into it, and as Tony said, he's devoted into going fast. I like going fast also. When I got the 35, back then to me it was king of the street. It doesn't matter. You had a lot of meets going on. I just rolled past, and everybody want to race you. All the RBs would come up. And my son would say, "Oh, that RB would eat you. That RB would eat you." But on the street, the R35 was a complete package, right? PR12, it's almost untouchable on the street.
So it's worth noting, Nick, his George's son, was friends with all the guys with the RBs and the early GTRs, and I think he felt like he wasn't cool because Dad had a 35. It's like it's the gay one, right? But then Dad would go out and pump his mates, all of them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember. I made Anthony Dartane very rich. You can send me a check later, Anthony.
Did you? What happened?
Yeah, because all the cars that I was racing there, I was beating his
so
cars.
those customers are coming to see. Yeah,
so
It seems like
so
roll
ev-
racing now.
It's like all of you guys now, yeah.
yeah.
Like they're
So-
earning all their money because all these blokes out there got trying to.
And
build
when we
cars
started
to beat
roll
us.
racing, it was
You got two
like-
older men fucking everyone up.
you had the likes of Koval. You know, Koval's car was quick. It was winning a roll.
He was hard
roll
to beat
racing.
at one stage. Eh?
Yeah,
He was
and,
really hard to beat.
There's some videos we've got of me racing Koval.
Anyway, I got I think, where to from here? All right, you go roll racing, you get the bloke next to you telling you how fast you can go. We've already established that. Where to then? You get no times, no time boards.
Let it go.
No, I want to know what the next plan is for Tony.
There is no next plan. It's just go faster.
Then I get to
Go
dri-
faster
No.
to do what?
So this
I
is the
drive
thing.
home.
You don't even know how fast you go.
No,
mate.
Zeta, you know what it is?
I
It's-
drive home and then I get to drive it to work.
Yeah. No, he means like
But
when
you
you
don't
got
know
nothing
how fast
to.
you go.
Yeah, I think it's a different thrill, right? It's a thrill of just being there amongst the people.
Please come to next roll racing.
Yeah, like
Please,
you
man.
haven't
There's
been.
one left of the year. Just come. You
I
can jump
love,
in
I
Tony's
love
car.
drag racing
do you
as
know
much
what it
as
is?
you
Take it
do.
out.
It's
Yeah,
drag
yeah,
racing, but
Because you can feel the difference in how the different chassis and different types of cars work.
13th of December.
And you know the best thing about it? The different mix of people and
Yeah.
cars that you get there.
It's the crowd, man.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
crowd's
And
electric.
It's
It
great.
is.
There's people there that
It's
are
a whole
mostly
different
driving
vibe.
stock cars.
Look at it this way. Who was Romanos before roll racing? Nothing.
Oh,
No, I agree with him.
Then he
right,
goes.
he's not
Then he's quiet for 2 years, right?
He's
Because
not
he
right.
hasn't, because he hasn't won anything.
No, I was
but
drag
people,
racer.
Yeah,
but people still remember him, right? Right. It's you get these legacies and
Fucking
legends of
hell.
cars, right?
Can I give you a perfect example of why drag racing, in my opinion,
Zeta, we
put
get
you
it.
on a
You like
different
drag
level?
racing. We get it.
No. Just hear this out, right? You started drag racing, then you had this whole thing going on with Portelli. The only way that
What do you mean? I started drag racing.
oh, manual.
the manual
record.
walls and how fast you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't swing each other, or you couldn't measure each other's whats if you didn't have a time board at the end of it, mate. If you went roll racing, how would you?
True. Yeah, it's a different opponent.
Is he driving?
It's
Does he
it's
drive
a
it?
Koval.
Who?
Portelli.
No.
No way.
Oh, fuck that. He's a sponsor.
Well, you're right. You're not
Drive
right.
your fucking cars.
You tell him.
It
Tony.
doesn't mean if you. I don't care. I can go build the fastest fucking car. I won't be able to drive it.
Yep.
Right?
That's fair
So
enough.
you build it, drive it.
But what
enjoy it.
he's saying is that you can't measure how fast you're going, where he can, and he has something to turn around.
Okay,
and
so
say,
drag
besides
racing-
beating the
Dra-
next guy next to me.
I feel like drag racing, when it was
Yeah,
brought out,
yeah.
it was actually side by side racing.
yeah.
So-
Real racing at
Yeah.
the
Side
track
by side.
is side by side.
Yeah.
But it's,
So-
it's
Heads
been
up,
lost.
Side by
Sorry?
side.
It's been lost now. Like, I
Well,
feel
not
like
really.
the
There's a
heads
few
up.
events that still
But
run
they're
like
not.
that, like Jambo and stuff, Grudge Kings. But
Yes. But people are all going for records and their
Yeah.
own PBs.
Everyone's just racing the clock,
Exactly.
right? It's not heads up.
Yeah.
It's not if you fuck it up, you're that
Yeah.
2/10 slower reaction time,
Yeah.
you're done.
I like that
Yeah.
stuff. I like
That's
driver
right.
dependent
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. 100%.
It's like roll racing. There's so many fast cars out there.
If you're doing
that can
51,
win.
you're getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Look,
It-
I
it-
think I'd
unless
like
you're
it
the right
more.
way.
You know what? Let's end it on this note, right? I'd like it more.
No one cares what you like.
Well, I think.
If they measured speed.
you haven't been to
If-
roll racing.
Exactly. So
Okay,
don't-
but
you-
maybe
know what?
I'd
On
like
that
it
note,
more.
just come
crazy.
first.
What's going on with you
Just come
today?
first. But can I
What's
just
going
finish?
on? Is
Oh,
it the
don't worry
toe?
about it.
What's
Finish.
that happen?
What do
I'm
they
getting
call
totes.
those?
You know what it's like,
The street outlaws.
Boxing
Kings of drag cars
is
that
drag
come
racing.
out there and do it.
right?
You know how they
MMA.
drags at the track?
Right? Is
Sorry,
roll
there's two
racing.
people talking. I can't hear.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
George.
that's a.
Yeah. So that's a good analogy, right? So you get the
So, yeah.
purist that loves boxing,
Yep.
right? And people will go and see it. And then you get people that will go and go and watch MMA. And there's more spectators in the growth of MMA, right, than boxing. And boxing's a sport that's, got rules and all sorts. MMA, anything goes, right?
Yeah.
But, who draws crowds? You're going for the crowds, you're going for the entertainment.
It's fair enough.
Right?
It's-
So
it's almost feel like
it is different,
it feels
right?
I
It is
just, I
different.
just
Drag
back
racing
to
feels
what I was
dated.
saying before I got interrupted by this.
Only here though.
KON,
Only
is
here.
that
in the States, drag racing is still massive.
Let the guy finish.
Go watch
Finish what? He's going to keep complaining about raw racing.
No, all I'm saying is that if there was a system that brought some sort of parity or made the competition more.
It's not meant for it. It's meant for fun.
What more competition do you want? You race another guy. If you beat him, you win.
No, hold on. I think they do for Texas 2K, right?
pretty-
It's more measured.
There's no measuring system in place.
No,
what are you
but-
talking about?
It's a win
They
or a
measure
loss.
the
That's
speed in that,
he
in
could
that
take off this
pocket
much in front of you and you don't know.
and the distance between the cars.
That works.
So,
I think that's
but they're
the biggest
measuring
issue.
both sides, and you've got to be within a certain range.
I think they
for
should
it to
do
be
that here in
a
Sydney.
green run.
Because now I feel like the left lane is actually a disadvantage because you got to fucking worry about what speed you're going. The right lane is actually the better
Yeah,
lane.
they're gonna
Where they
slingshot
get
you.
slingshot.
Oh,
all
Exactly,
sorts,
because
yeah.
you could be going 52 Ks, you're not going to get pulled up.
And you know who's the smartest at doing this?
Oh, we all know this.
Mate, Mr. Matuk.
Yeah.
Right? You'll never pick the left.
Nah.
You'll never pick the left.
The right
Sorry,
lane's a
Ant.
better lane now.
Yeah.
If you have a choice, you're choosing the right lane.
On this note to end, good luck to you in the next year.
Why?
Cars are getting faster.
So's
You're not-
mine.
You're not,
Yeah.
No, it's not.
He hasn't parked it up. He hasn't parked it up.
He has.
It's
No,
the
he
fastest thing on and off that hoist.
Why are you always confident?
Guys, thank you for coming.
I've had one gearbox. How many gearboxes have you gone through?
No, he's won.
Oh, it's the same gearbox.
Same turbos too. 4 years. How many turbos you changed?
How many me?
Wow.
I haven't broken any turbos.
No, I didn't say brake. I didn't say brake. I didn't say brake.
How many of you at 80, 85, 86, 85,
I wanna go
88,
faster.
90?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You changed everything.
Billet block, Kelly's
Billet
strength.
block, chaos,
Fucking
colours.
this
Yeah,
Ross.
what is
Oh,
this? Record
no,
kit?
Romans.
2 years, bro.
Hey,
know
someone's
what?
got to do the
That's
experimenting.
Wait,
You know
he
what?
even
This
bought a
is
new car.
Someone has to do the experimenting for everyone else to benefit.
Yeah.
And
And
But
this is all
doesn't.
part of the racing and the spirit behind the dedication that some people have in doing this.
Yeah.
And they're really committed to wanting to go faster, put the time.
But
effort,
Romanos
and
doesn't
money
go
in.
faster. He's changed his turbos and went slower.
He hasn't won in 2 years.
true.
He'll get the formula right.
Not true.
You know,
He's got a pro mod on it now, so.
No,
Premise been on for a
it
while.
does. It takes time. You got to
It
dial the
does.
car in at roll racing.
Yeah.
No different to drag
Give us
racing. right?
give us a prediction. Who wins the next roll racing?
The last roll race.
The next one. Yeah, well, this is the last. Yeah, for
last.
the year.
RHM.
IHM?
Thanks, Tony.
Well,
mate. What a
we can
legend.
give
No, I
definitely.
remember those number plates I put up World Time Take
Yeah.
on the car?
Yeah,
I'll take
We're going
it.
to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars that.
George is going to have plates, RHM plates on it. Everyone fast is
Everyone's
going to have
RHM.
RHM plates.
Are you
on
going
the
to be
night.
there?
No,
You're racing?
No.
He'll get
actually
the
not
top
coming.
10.
Why not?
Zadie, you coming?
I'm over it. I'm over to drag racing.
Mac, are you racing?
I think so.
If I was
Not
coming-
myself, my brother
Doesn't
will
matter.
be.
Did you get
If
another car
I
there?
was coming,
I
you've got no chance.
definitely think
I'll
so.
give you all a chance to finish off the year. And I'll see you next
I
year.
agree.
Can you please
Me
move this
too.
mic?
Zeta, I think you should come.
You're coming.
It's the last
I
one,
think,
13th.
You're coming.
And I think can
It's
someone
not a good-
can someone take Zeta for a
Take
drive?
it for a
Guys,
drive.
Yeah, get him in a V10.
All right,
Guys,
Yeah.
it's,
And then you jump
There
it's
you
not
go.
a smart day to race Friday the 13th. Like,
That's
it's just a
perfect.
I
bad
know.
luck
It's
day.
just,
Perfect.
Listen,
But you
Zeta,
just do the-
you have to go to
Yeah,
roll
that's it.
racing and
Get
you
the-
have to jump in with one of the PR boys. That's the
Yeah.
challenge.
He won't fit in the limbo.
yes, you will.
Yeah, you'll fit. You'd fit in the R8. I think my son's racing it second time. Like these things are set and forget, right? Hold it straight, put the foot down,
Yeah.
concentrate.
He's
Off
gonna
you
be
go.
like, "Fuck, this is slow." Everything's just so slow.
Yeah, that will be probably the disappointment for you.
Yeah. No,
Well, then he
Not getting the
goes,
same
he
feeling.
goes in with Romanos, and it's like it's a different experience. That
Yeah.
car,
Yeah.
you know, they're totally different.
It feels like you're going faster, but you're not.
yeah.
Spinning ain't winning, baby.
There's going to be a lot of good reels. Well, thank you very much, guys, for coming on.
Thanks,
We
man.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck next week, and
See you all at
we'll see
racing.
you at roll
Good
racing.
luck, guys.
See you guys.
Yeah.